Grab him.
And oop.
Tickle his chest or something.
And oop.
What about everything on that random list of, like...
Dildos at Spencer's?
No, you have a huge... Don't you have a huge list?
Yeah, dildos at Spencer's.
And oop.
Booper, put your hand like up there.
Booper. You want this?
No, like put it above him. And he's so trying to get it.
And oop.
So, darling daughter recently went to a birthday party. Her friend turned 12?
13.
13. But she's still 12. She's about to be 13 also in a month or so, right? Mm-hmm. But there were 12 and 13-year-old girls, 4 of them, at this girl's house. And they went to the mall that day, and the girl whose birthday was bought a ouija board at the mall for $25. First of all, that's a deal.
Is it?
If you're trying to summon spirits from the grave and from the dead, $25.
True.
That's a steal.
I never thought of it like that.
But I was wondering, and they played with it, right? They messed with it. They tried to do something with it.
They did, but 2 of the girls were really scared.
Yeah.
So they weren't all fully committed.
Yeah.
So it didn't really work.
Yeah. What would you do if Luna Marie, darling daughter, brought home a Ouija board, a $25 Ouija board?
I would play it with her.
What?
I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in spirits. I don't believe in evil spirits. I think it's just all a bunch of fun, bunch of malarkey.
Why take the chance?
I'll burn some sage afterwards if that makes you feel better.
Haven't you ever seen The Conjuring? What if
Haven't you read The Conjuring debunkings?
Are you woman enough to walk into the bathroom and say Bloody Mary into the mirror 3 times right now?
I'll do it right now.
Turn off the lights. What about Candyman? I would be against that. I just think I don't believe anything will happen, but why chance it? I don't need Frankie Blue to experience a poltergeist, and then we gotta have an exorcism.
Don't you want to try to contact Betty White?
Rest in power, rest in paradise. Yeah, I think it is fun in games, but I just don't. I wouldn't want that kind of stuff. If Luna brought it home, I'd be like, no. I mean, you can keep it in the closet, under your bed, whatever. But I don't want you messing with that thing. And then if her friend brought it over, I'd be like, you guys aren't gonna play with that tonight. Let's just be on the safe side.
Okay.
Let's err on the side of caution. But you would be okay with it. You would put your hand on the little compass or whatever they call it.
Yeah, I would.
And what if some hijinks happen? What if?
I haven't thought that far ahead.
Would you try to contact someone? Is there
What are you supposed to contact a specific ghost? I don't even know how those Ouija boards work. I've never actually done one.
Yeah,
but I've always wanted to.
I've only seen them in the movies,
Right.
And what happens in the movies should stay in the movies. That's scary stuff, honey. Yeah, but they tried to do something, and the girls freaked out, and hopefully nothing happened. But then again, that girl whose birthday it was, whose home they were at, she owns 4 cats and 4 rats. Very odd.
So you're saying it can't get any worse?
And oop.
I wonder if you could summon pets on it.
And oop.
Well, I think the ghost has to be able to like spell on the board, like it spells you a message. So animals can't do that.
Well, maybe they get really smart.
A monkey, like a gorilla could.
Maybe they go to Harvard up in heaven.
Coco the gorilla.
In animal heaven. Right.
And oop.
You chaperoned Luna and her friend at the mall. Yeah. And well, the initial plan was the friend and Luna would go to the mall alone. That's what the friend's parents were cool with.
Yeah. And
you were not cool with that.
No, I was like, no.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll go I'll stay there with them. And so that's what I did. We went there. Me and Luna went. We met her. Her dad dropped her off at the mall.
Yeah.
And I gave them a little speech outside of the Starbucks. I was like, okay, you guys have to be back here in this spot in 2 hours. We're going to meet back up.
Yeah.
You cannot leave the mall. If you want to leave and walk down to the separate area where like the Barnes and Noble is.
You should have said you can't buy a Ouija board.
I didn't even know they sold Ouija boards there.
Yeah.
So I said, don't talk to strangers. Don't leave with anybody.
Yeah.
And they just like giggled like, we know.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, bye. And then they walked off, and then I kind of followed behind like 20 feet until they got to the escalator.
Yeah.
And they went up to the second floor. And it took all my strength to not follow them. But I was like, don't be a freak. Don't be a weird, clingy mother.
Yeah.
And then they went up out of my sight. And then I literally like looked around, kind of like walked in a circle, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I had 2 hours to kill at the mall.
Yeah. I almost went. What was I doing?
What were you doing?
I was doing stuff for
You were
laundry,
doing something.
dishes, stuff like that.
Gym, I think.
Gym. But like I understand you wanting to be there. But I think choice of mall was important because they went to Art and Fair, which is a little rough and tumble. If they had gone to Roseville Galleria, where Michael Kors and Gucci have stores, whatever, Armani, I would have been okay with them.
I still wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
well, what if it was 4 girls instead of 2?
No. I still wouldn't. Ask me again in a few years, but they're 12 and 13.
Yeah.
They're still pretty young.
Yeah.
So I still would like to be in the vicinity. So if they needed me, like, I could get to them in under 5 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
I still would want to be, like, in the same building.
Even in the Tony Roseville Galleria?
Yeah, it's not that Tony. It's not that fancy.
What about Fountains? What about Palladio and Folsom?
No.
Oh.
I still want to be on the vicinity.
What about you when you were 12 and 13? Did you do the mall thing by yourself with your friends?
No, not at that age.
Really?
Not till I was like in high school. My parents did put me on a plane by myself at 14, and I flew to New Mexico. And I had to change flights and everything.
Wow.
But I was 14.
Did airline people help you out, or
no.
was anyone? Oh.
No. I was like old enough, I guess.
But they made it very clear. This is where you walk. This is what you go to.
Yeah. I feel like I was, or maybe that was the beginning of my like being very capable of getting myself around and traveling on my own and reading maps and following directions.
Luna's current age, and I realize it's different for boys and girls, but it's like a mom would drop us off at the mall at a specific entrance, and we'll be back in 3 hours. I'll be back in 3 hours, and you better be at this specific entrance. But we were 12, 13, maybe even 11, and we would just roam and buy boardwalk fries, roam around with $5 in our pocket.
A group of you at the mall?
Yeah, either me. It was usually me and Alex Lord, but every once in a while it would be like 3 or 4 boys.
Yeah. I know I'm very paranoid and kind of overprotective.
Yeah.
I seem to be like the most uptight of all the moms in Luna's friend group.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess that's just me. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't feel comfortable letting a group of 12 and 13-year-olds go off on their own in the mall.
Yeah. I think you're overprotective, but at the same time, I think the other parents, our peers, Luna's friends' parents, are underprotective.
I think they're underprotective too. We're kind of each at the extreme ends of the spectrum.
Well, I'm in the middle. I'm in the sane middle, honey. I'm in the rational middle.
It was a big step for me to go to the mall and let the 2 of them go off out of my sight for 2 hours.
Yes.
And I only texted them. I texted after an hour. So
right.
like halfway through, I texted Luna and just said, "Hey, are you guys doing good?"
Yeah.
And she wrote me back, "Yeah," told me where they were.
Yeah.
And then I just texted them back at towards the end, and I was like, "Hey, you need to meet me up in 15 minutes."
Yeah.
That was it. And I was like really proud of myself.
So you think at 13 or 14, they can go on
I don't know.
on their own?
I don't know.
I think if it's a group of 4 girls, in this case it was 5 at one point, that birthday weekend, there was at one point there were 5 of them. I think 5 girls can handle themselves, and if trouble comes their way, I don't think it'll be a big deal. And I think them handling it or dealing with it, it's good. Can't protect them forever. It's a good life lesson. 5
of them at age 13, 14, sure. Just 2 of them?
Yeah.
Maybe in a year or 2.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And this particular friend, she's smaller. She's a smaller 12 or now 13-year-old. Luna's tall.
Yeah.
Olivia's tall. She can. I think they can handle their own. And during these 2 hours, you wandered into Spencer's.
I ended up having so much fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I walked the whole length of the mall, like 3 round trips. So I was like, hey, I'm getting exercise. I'm getting my steps in.
Totally.
I went to a few makeup stores. I went to Claire's and looked at the jewelry. Yeah. I went to the Zoomies store, and I was taken back to when I was 18 years old, and I was into like the skater gear.
Yeah, and your brother Brandon would call you a poser, right?
Yeah, because my little brother Brandon like actually rode skateboards.
Yeah.
He's a few years younger than me.
Yeah.
And I just like wore all the skater gear.
Yeah.
Like I had the aesthetic, like a skater girl.
Right.
So he would call me a poser. So that was fun.
You got Sbarro, which
I went to the food court and I got Sbarro pizza, which is like my favorite pizza, and I have it like once every 10 years.
I can't believe they're still in business. They like ring late 80s, early 90s Malltopia to me.
And
yeah.
And I was really happy for them because there was a steady line of people getting Sbarro pizza, so I was like happy for their business.
Yeah.
The whole food court was packed. I had to wait to find a table.
Well, you said the entire mall
was... The whole mall was packed. It was the day after Christmas.
Right.
It was insane.
Yeah.
It was... In every store I went into, the queue was like 10 people deep.
Yeah.
So I only ended up buying one thing because I was like, why would I spend money just for the sake of spending money?
It was, yeah.
And so I ended up buying one thing.
You're maturing, you're growing, honey. Although the one thing you did buy was $28 eyeliner or something.
$38. It was a $38 eye cream. But it's an eye cream I've been wanting for months, and I haven't found it anywhere. So I finally found it in Sephora.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I went to Spencer's.
Spencer's, yes. And so back when I was 13 and going to North County Fair, which was the hip happening mall down in my neck of the woods in San Diego, Spencer's was, well, even in college, it was like you went there and it was kind of like Brookstone or Sharp Image for stoners.
Yeah, totally, for college dudes.
Yeah.
You got your lava lamps, you got your like marijuana decor,
black light posters. Yeah. And I noticed this a few years ago, but go ahead, honey. What does Spencer's specialize in?
Wow. Oh, there's the biggest section they have is like sex toys.
Yeah.
2 full walls of sex toys.
Jeez.
And then of course like silly things like little gummies shaped like boobs and so many penis shaped candies and items.
Yeah.
I was sending you some pictures.
Yeah. Not safe for work, honey.
How is this store they don't monitor the age of anyone coming in. How is it not an 18 plus store?
I know.
And then there's like, it's explicit, and there's images, there's photos on the packaging.
Very graphic, yeah.
Very graphic. Yeah. I don't know how they just let anybody in there.
I'm not sure.
I was wondering if Luna and her friend would make their way in there or not, but I don't think they did.
You should have stood outside. You should have stood guard. Kevin James Mall Cop. Yeah, it's very odd. There's no security outside. There's no special room.
No.
To go. Yeah,
there's no like beading that says 18 only, 18 plus.
Right. Yeah. I can't believe it's just open in the mall. Like adult store, Kiss and Tell is a Sacramento adult store or whatever.
Yep.
F Street was big down in San Diego, but but it was like on a questionable road in the lawless tribal border region of the city, and but it wasn't in so much walking traffic.
And I remember when I was younger going to video stores, and then they had that little room in the back, with a curtain.
Yeah, curtain.
And there's nothing like that in Spencer's.
Yeah,
it's just open.
Yeah, when I worked at Video Vault, which was a small chain in San Diego, California, we had Twister and Fargo and all the Hollywood releases, but we had a room you had to go into. And it was like the size of a bedroom, and there was a door. There wasn't beads. It was like a regular door with a handle. You had to open the door and walk in there and close the door. And it was adult stuff. And well, I'll tell you later, honey. But it made it interesting. And listen, the clientele was mostly dudes. What are you gonna do? Men have needs. But now, all that stuff is gone with the internet, as it were.
And oop.
Spencer's is still there, though. They're still going wild in the Arden Fair Mall.
And oop.
So Josh Rogers was my friend in middle school and a little high school. He lived 6 houses away, like down the street. But he worked at a Sbarro at North County Fair. So he was always bringing home Sbarro.
Oh.
So it was like anytime we were over there playing Nintendo or watching TV, it's like, so we got Sbarro, leftover Sbarro. Can you bring home Sbarro?
I'm about to get a part-time job there so I can do the same thing.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
It was so good. And it was nonstop Sbarro. But you got a cheese slice and a Caesar salad, right?
No, just a green salad.
A green salad. But it was just a slice of cheese.
Yeah.
Sbarro, I remember their big deal was like the stuffed pizza.
Oh, I didn't see any stuffed there. I might have missed it. I almost went with the slice that had a ton of veggies on top. Looked really good. But then I thought I'll just go classic.
Yeah. Is it what you remember? I can't remember what it tasted like.
It's what I remember.
Is it?
It was fantastic.
Is it different than Pizza Guys or Round Table?
The slices are really big. They're like New York, quote unquote, New York slices.
Yeah.
And the crust is really thin, but it's like soft. Like you can bend the slice in half.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love Sbarro.
So you remember what it tastes like 20 years ago, and
yeah.
and it still tastes the same?
Yeah.
I guess, I haven't had it since Josh Rogers. Maybe Josh Rogers still works.
Take me on a date to Arden Fair Mall. Let's go there.
There's stuffed crust. Let me see.
And oop.
Only 2 stars on Yelp, honey.
Haters.
And oop.
But you don't like stuffed crust, I thought.
I don't, but when you were in middle school and high school.
And that's what Josh had in his house.
And it was free, right? You just ate it and your standards aren't as high.
And oop.
So I've been watching Hawkeye. I finished Hawkeye. It's 6 episodes. You haven't watched it. You have no interest in it, which I get.
I can't stand Jeremy Renner.
Well, let's get to what's really important, honey. The ugliest Avenger. Is it Jeremy Renner or Mark Ruffalo? I feel like Jeremy Renner is not attractive, but I feel Mark Ruffalo used to be attractive, and he's fallen by the wayside.
Mark Ruffalo still has some adorable charm.
Yes.
Jeremy Renner's got nothing.
Yeah.
He's never been attractive. He doesn't have a cute personality.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
But
Ruffalo's a cutie.
I feel like he's fallen from grace, and he's not in shape. And when you're filming scenes with Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and frickin' Chris Hemsworth, like, wouldn't you be motivated to do some curls and maybe eat a little more kale and a little less Sbarros or whatever?
I've never seen Mark Ruffalo's naked torso.
Yeah, he's topless in the Avengers movies.
I don't remember that.
He's shirtless. Here, let me Google it.
And not in like Endgame and what are those last 2?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, he
Why?
like, tumbles out of
Show me a naked Mark Ruffalo right now.
Tumbles out of something or other.
And a oop.
Don't you remember this in Endgame?
And a oop.
Like, this is when...
Oh, wow. He's so hairy. Okay, I do remember that. I don't remember his toplessness. I remember him falling, like, on a car. He's very hairy. He needs to wax his chest.
And a oop.
Mark Ruffalo has kind of, like, a cute, hot professor look to him.
Yeah.
So, I don't personally find him very attractive.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was very adorable, like, in 13 going on 30.
Yeah.
But, no. Like, I'd pass. I'll pass on him. How about you, honey?
And a oop.
What's the question? Jeremy Renner or Mark Ruffalo?
Kiss, marry, kill.
Oh, dear.
And a oop.
I'd pass on both of them. But I can see how other people might find Mark Ruffalo attractive.
Yeah.
And a oop.
I don't like his voice either.
Yeah.
It's like too gravelly.
Yeah.
And a oop.
What's wrong?
Just looking for good pictures.
Well, I don't think there's a lot because he doesn't really flaunt his body.
Yeah, because he let himself go.
And a oop.
Who's the cutest Avengers?
Chris Evans or RDJ?
No, RDJ?
Yeah.
No way. Chris
Okay.
Evans,
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth, and
if you're into that raw, rugged masculinity, honey.
and that other guy.
And a oop.
Sebastian.
Yeah,
the guy with the
Sebastian
gun.
Stan.
Yeah,
He's so cute.
yeah, he's handsome. He's handsome.
Robert Downey Jr. No, he's okay.
I think he's got the dark, dignified. Well, I mean, he used to do drugs and fall asleep in his neighbor's daughter's beds, but now he has the elder statesman handsomeness quality to him. Okay, so Jeremy Renner is the ugliest Avenger.
Totally.
Is Mark Ruffalo a close second?
I wouldn't. He's second, but I wouldn't say close.
Okay, so Hawkeye. This is something I watched Saturday and Sunday morning when I wake up early and you're still asleep, my love. It's good. Sometimes it's really good. It's a lot of fun. Like they play with LARPing. They have some LARPers in on the action, and like that's fun. Seeing Hawkeye kind of having to play along to get what he needs from them. The bad guys, they're called the Tracksuit Mafia, which is silly.
Do they wear tracksuits?
Yes, absolutely. And they're
fun.
like some Eastern European dudes.
I kind of like that.
And they're like big, brooding, intimidating, scary dudes. But they also like they have some laughs. Like they have some good lines. They're not so serious all the time. So I think that's done really well. The villain is like a badass chick, and she has a prosthetic leg, and she's deaf. And also Renner's deaf, and Hawkeye's deaf, I guess.
What?
I don't know if that's come up before, because I never heard of
What
it.
are you talking about?
He's got hearing problems.
Well, is he deaf or is he hard of hearing?
He's hard of hearing. He has a
Okay.
hearing aid.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've never noticed that. Is that a new development?
I don't know. I don't know
Oh.
if it's canon or retcon or retconic. I have no idea, but it's in the game in Hawkeye. So the badass chick with the prosthetic leg, and who's hard of hearing or deaf, and then Renner's hard of hearing also. So there's that element. Haley Stanfield and Jeremy Renner really good together.
I like Haley Steinfeld a lot.
Yeah, funny and emotional at times, and there's a good bond there. There's good chemistry. I would say it's similar to WandaVision in just quality.
Okay.
WandaVision, not your average Marvel
Yeah.
property, and Hawkeye is your average Marvel property. It's exactly what you expect, but they're both done well. So depending on what you're in the mood for, Hawkeye is on the same level in WandaVision and that aspect. But it made me think of all the crappy shows that have been on Disney Plus. Mandalorian,
Horrible.
worst show ever.
I know we're in the minority though. But we both could barely stand it. We didn't finish the season.
We're right.
We are right,
It's
obviously.
it's terrible. And I watched the first episode of Book of Boba Fett. Same thing. So boring. Falcon Winter Soldier. Terrible.
1.5 good episodes.
Loki. An episode that was good.
I feel like Loki started out really strong.
Yeah.
I really liked the first few episodes.
Yeah.
And I liked the whole...
The dialogue was good.
The dialogue was good. I liked I liked all the actors and the characters. I liked the setup, but then it just went off the rails.
Right.
I think WandaVision's been my favorite.
Yeah.
Although I feel like the last 2 episodes kind of lost it.
Yeah.
But I like the ending, the very ending of like the last episode packed a real emotional punch.
Yeah.
And I really loved that.
Totally.
And it was such a unique show, not just for Marvel, but in general. It was a really unique TV show.
Yeah.
And I really love Elizabeth Olsen and the guy
Paul Bettany.
Yeah. They're great together. I really like their characters.
Yeah.
And it was such a unique... I loved every episode.
Yeah.
Going through the different decades of TV. It was such a cool concept.
Yeah. So different, so unexpected, so unique, and hasn't been done since, or it doesn't look like there's anything on their slate similarly.
Has Disney Plus announced anything in regards to season 2 of any of these Marvel shows?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, Hawkeye is really good. And like I said, it's your traditional Marvel action nonsense, but it's done really well. I enjoyed it. There's like I watched the finale today. There's lots going on. So you got Renner, you got Haley, you got Florence Pugh, aka Black Widow's sister, who's in the worst movie of all time called Midsummer. Never watch it. It's terrible.
It's kind of fun.
She's good in it. Vera Farmiga's in here.
Oh, I like Vera Farmiga.
Yeah, her husband, I don't know him, but he's a player. Kingpin is in here, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, I believe. Got the badass villain chick, who's the deaf chick, and she's going against her number 2 guy in their little gang thing. But there's a lot, all those characters in the finale, but it's done very well. And one of the big action sequences takes place during Christmas, New York City. One of the big action sequences in the finale takes place on the Rockefeller Center ice skating rink. World famous. That's where 30 Rock is, right? NBC.
Yeah.
/Comcast /SNL. They had a big, lots of arrows flying about and action on the ice skating rink, and there was a giant Christmas tree.
Were they like ice skating and doing like
no, they weren't
triple axels and shooting an arrow?
They weren't doing pirouettes. But the ice does come into play. The giant Christmas tree comes into play. It's done very well in Rockefeller Center in Manhattan there. And the payoff ends well. Like there's a good payoff. Spoiler alert, he makes it home to his family. It just felt really satisfying, and I'm glad I watched it. So big ups to Hawkeye, but I don't want a season 2.
I don't want a season 2 of any of these shows.
Right. You don't want WandaVision season 2?
No. But where can they go from there?
I know.
Well, like any of these shows.
Where can they go? They can,
go
continue
anywhere.
getting subscribers, which is what this is all about.
They can continue making money.
And oop.
Okay, let's talk about our day-to-day. Your headlight has been out since, I noticed it Wednesday or Thursday?
I don't know how long it's been out, but
right. Well, that's another thing.
Thursday.
I got home right before you.
It was Wednesday. On Wednesday, I happened to pull into our condominium parking lot complex, and I was right behind you.
Yeah.
So I was following you, around.
Yeah.
And then you stopped randomly, like we weren't to our building yet, and you got out of your car and came back to my car.
Yeah.
And you told me your headlight's out. I had no idea.
Yeah. And yeah, how long was it a day?
How long has it been out?
Was it a month? Was it a year? I don't know. Well,
I feel so foolish.
We don't drive much at night.
Well, that's true, but it's been raining a lot lately.
Yeah.
So I've had my headlights on a lot. And every day when I leave work, it's starting to get dark.
Yeah.
So I turn my headlights on to drive home from work.
Yeah. And so our immediate reaction was we need to take it somewhere. And I said, well, let me try to figure this out. So I hopped on the YouTubes and I found the part. I mean, it's a light bulb. It's a tiny light bulb. $11. Bought it at Walmart today. But I wanted to talk about that. So I go to Walmart. I find the exact part via Google and YouTube and the internet. It's $11. What is it called? H11? It doesn't
I don't know. It's a little bulb.
Sylvania is the brand. But I see you can check Walmart stock on their app. I see they have one. Okay, I head over there. And immediately it tells you exactly the aisle L28 or whatever it is. So I go to L28 and this $11 light bulb is glass. It's locked. Lock and key behind glass. So you have to summon a Walmart associate to unlock this glass door, this lock.
Walmart has the most random things locked up.
Yeah.
Like batteries.
Yeah.
I guess they must track what's the most stolen.
Yeah.
And then lock it up.
Like,
you used to work there?
I know Hanes t-shirts they lock up now.
What?
Baby formula, yeah.
Formula, I know.
It's ridiculous, but yeah. So I worked at Walmart very, 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 very part-time. It got down to like
4 hours a week.
4 hours a week, Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the toy section. But we locked up a bunch like LOL dolls, which they were high demand, very valuable. But we also locked up in the toy section is the bike stuff, and we would lock up like bike pumps that were $8. Needles that you use to inflate bike tires that were $1 or $2. We would have to lock up because they were so tiny. People could just throw them in their pocket, throw them in their book bag, and walk out.
Sell them on the black market.
Right. So, locking up things was a huge deal. Now, the thing is, and this was at the Walmart in Antelope where I worked, there was one set of keys.
Oh my gosh.
For all the locked cabinets, all the glass cabinets. So if you had this set of keys, you'd Tylenol, whatever the PA. Someone needs Tylenol and A3. And you would have to walk I would have to walk from toy section across the entire Walmart to unlock Tylenol. Tylenol was also locked up. Paint was locked up. Lots of tools. Home improvement stuff locked up. So you had one set of keys and you had to deal with toys, people in toy section too. But if someone needed some spray paint in the home improvement section, you had to walk over there. Now you got lots of steps, but it was very inefficient. And sometimes just finding these keys, because communication amongst Walmart employees isn't exactly top notch. Where are the cabinet keys? Oh, Mark has them. Hey, Mark, where are the cabinet? Oh, Tracy has them. It's like they would just be someone would go on a break with them and forget about them, or someone would go to the bathroom. Anyways, it was a nightmare, and I hated dealing with it. Just a big pain in the butt. Just let people steal stuff. Just make it easier. But your headlight bulb was locked up, so they have a little box that says press this button and someone will help you soon, something to that effect. And so I would press this button and a little red light would turn on, be red for about 5 seconds, and then it would go off and nothing would happen. So I'm like, okay, do I need to press it once or should I keep pressing it because it keeps turning off? I kept pressing it. I pressed it about 8 different times, and the whole time I'm walking in and out of the aisle, 0 employees. Most Walmart employees are pulling orders now in the food section.
Yeah.
So just looking around for employees, no one. Okay, I'll press the red button again. And is it working? Because it turns off after 5 seconds. So several minutes passed, and it was right next to because it's a automotive section. It's right next to where they do the oil change. But oil change, the guy who the cashier at the oil change section, he was dealing with customers, ringing people up, so I didn't want to bother him. But I had to wait over 5 minutes just for someone.
Over 5 minutes.
I know, it was the worst thing ever. I'm literally still shaking from it. But it's just ridiculous. It's so silly.
I don't understand why the bulbs are locked up.
Right.
Come on, Walmart.
Why are air pump needles locked up? Cost $1. Okay, so a Walmart gentleman shows up. I say, that's what I'm looking for. That H11, it's right there. He unlocks the lock, opens the glass case, grabs it, and he's like, I can't give it to you. Now, this was another thing.
Oh my gosh.
So I would walk from toy section to Tylenol section, and I want that Tylenol. Okay, I grab the bottle. Okay, it'll be up at a cash register 28 for you. And they'd be like, oh. So you would tell them, when you're done with your shopping, just go to cash register 28, and they'll have it for you. And then, I would go to cash register 28. Hey, here's a bottle of Tylenol that someone may ask you about in 38 minutes, or they might leave, or they might just change their mind. But here's a bottle of Tylenol.
There's got to be a better system.
I know, you would think so for the largest retailer on the planet. It's so dumb. So, gentleman grabs my bulb. I can't give it to you. It'll be up at customer service. And I go, oh my gosh, I can't believe this nonsense. Okay, so, and back in the day, this is register 28. You might walk up to register 28, and there's 8 people waiting for register 28.
Or is it ever closed? Like no one's there,
Yeah.
the light's off.
Maybe that person went on break or whatever. Yeah, another thing. So, guy goes, I can't give it to you. It'll be a customer service. Okay. I get done with my shopping, our shopping. I head to customer service. There's a line of people waiting to return things.
Oh,
One lady was returning half the freaking store. I swear to Lord. Like, she had clothes, she had food, and they were just, she was returning so much stuff. It's like, lady, I'm dying here. I'm dying. So I waited. Finally, I get up to a customer service associate. Yeah, there's a light bulb. The guy said it would be up here. And she said, oh, okay. And she goes over to, literally a trash bin. That's the system. They throw it in this trash bin. And she picks it up. She picked up a different light bulbs. And I'm like, no, that's not them. She reaches into the trash bin again. Ta-da! Here's your light bulb. Okay, great. And then, so I think, well, she's going to hand it to me and I'm going to head to a register. She's like, no, I have to check you out here. And I was like,
oh my God.
Why?
It's contraband.
I know. And then she said, well, next time just go to a cashier. And I'm like, well, the guy told me to come to customer service. And then, she talked to another Walmart associate. And she was saying, tell them to go to the cashier. Don't tell them being customers. Tell them to go to cashiers. Don't come to customer service because we're busy enough as it is. And I was like, oh my gosh, lady. All this for an $11 light bulb.
So much
So much aggravation. But yeah, that was for your little light bulb. And I tried to install it. I watched many YouTube videos, and taking it out was a simple 90-degree turn, and you could pop it out of its socket. I could not make that 90-degree turn.
Honey, you were in the garage for 45 minutes.
Yeah. And
I thought, I need to go check on him.
Yeah.
He's been there far too long just to replace a little bulb.
My hands were bleeding.
I know.
Well, I turned it, and I could jiggle it loose a little, but there was just something, and I'm really strong, honey.
You are.
I lift. I could have broken it like Mark Ruffalo as Hulk. Okay, I could have gone Hulk strength. But obviously your car is very important, and I don't want to damage an entire headlight for this $11 flipping bulb. So yeah, it was 45 minutes or an hour of me crying, bleeding, and getting dirty, and finagling any which way. I couldn't do it. So we're like, okay, we'll go to Meineke. It was about noon around then. We drive to Meineke. It's New Year's Day.
New Year's Eve,
sorry. It's December 31st. So lo and behold, Meineke is closed on Friday, New Year's Eve.
So we were like, screw it, let's go eat food.
Yeah, let's drown our sorrows. And we had been planning to get Peace Cuisine, which we just went to 2 weeks ago, I think. Maybe last weekend.
2 weeks ago, we dreamt and hoped and planned to go there on Christmas. It didn't work.
Right.
We did go there about 2 weeks ago, though.
Yeah.
So here we are, back again.
Yeah, we got they got slammed with orders and customers, so they stopped answering their phone.
Yeah, Christmas Day they were just way overwhelmed. We couldn't get in,
and we showed up and they said 45-minute wait, and we were like, nah. But today we went there, and we were gonna get takeout, but I was like, let's dine in.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm glad we did.
Yeah. Because I didn't want to deal with the trash and styrofoam.
I haven't eaten inside a restaurant in a very long time.
Oh, really?
And it felt like a fun little spontaneous date. You and I together.
Right. Because, we were like, I was like, let's eat. And then I said, should we tell the kids? You're like, nah. They're still sleeping.
Well, I told them we're going to the car shop to get my light bulb fixed. And then, so they expected us to be gone an hour.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is Peace Cuisine, home of the $16 sticky rice, which I had 2 weeks ago, and it was fan-freaking-tastic. And we went because we wanted to try their vermicelli, which is essentially their sticky rice ingredients, but with thin vermicelli noodles.
And we both love, I would say, vermicelli noodles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's packed with onions, egg, Chinese sausage,
dehydrated shrimp, cilantro.
Yeah.
All of which was explained to us. So, on their Yelp, there's a picture. I think it's the owner. He's an older Asian gentleman, whatever. But it's a picture of him, and the caption is just, "Go see Uncle." So I don't know if Uncle's his nickname. I don't know if this is his niece maybe putting a picture of him on Yelp and trying to drum up business for her uncle. So we just started calling him Uncle. Yeah. Not actually to his face. Just kind of whispers and behind his back and giggling to each other. So we ordered cream cheese wontons, and which had 8 of them. And you only ordered them if I agreed to eat 4. And I said, no problem.
I wasn't even hungry.
Right. Well, that was another thing.
Yeah. We decided to go eat anyways.
Well, what do we have for breakfast?
Oh my gosh.
So.
That's right. Just like 2 hours earlier, I had made us these delicious sliders. Yeah. It was like the Hawaiian rolls. Yeah. I cut them in half. Yeah. And then I spread the bottom half with pesto. Then I put provolone cheese. Yeah. Pepperoni. Yeah. More provolone. Pesto. No, more provolone.
Oh, more provolone.
Then on the top half of the Hawaiian rolls, I spread pesto. Okay. Oh, and then I melted butter. I brushed it on top. Yeah. So we baked those and we ate the whole thing.
This is our breakfast.
And then you ate eggs.
I know. Well, you had all this melted, clarified butter or whatever. And I was like, well, I can make popcorn or eggs. And the kids were still sleeping, so I didn't want to make a racket with popcorn. But yeah, then I ate eggs, maybe an English muffin or 2. Okay, listen, I'm off track. Dry January is about to start, honey.
Dry January, on track January. So today's our last hurrah.
Yeah. And last year's Dry January sort of, it lasted a couple days. Yeah. And it morphed into Dry February, which also lasted a few days.
I didn't even try Dry February, but you know what? This year I'm really committed. Okay. I'm so ready to go.
Me too. Yeah. And your birthday is January 31st, and we're going to let loose and let our freak flag fly for your birthday. Actually, the 29th is a Saturday. Yeah. We're going to celebrate.
Well, you know what? Close enough. We're going to the 29th.
Yeah. But we're going to hopefully stick to 4 months hardcore. No booze, no cream cheese.
Do you mean 4 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
What did I say?
You said 4 months.
Oh, jeez, Louis. I would never put myself in the torture.
How could you?
We got cream cheese wontons for the appetizer, and then for the entree, we got General Chicken, steamed rice, an order of steamed rice just to eat with the General Chicken, and then we got the showstopper, the $14.95. I'll call it $15 in the title for the clicks, honey, for the clickbait. The $14.95 Peace Cuisine Special Vermicelli, and we got it with no bean sprouts because there's pictures of it on Yelp, and I don't like crunchy bean sprouts in my soft noodle dishes, so we said no bean sprouts. Now, if you listen to the previous Peace Cuisine review, he essentially he has it. Uncle has a script. He knows his role, and he says the same things. I don't want to go A and B, but so here's what happened. We order what we order, and then Peace Cuisine Special Vermicelli, no bean sprouts. And then he said, "Have you had that here before?" And we were like, "No." And he said, "Oh, it's not American."
He said, this is very important. He said, "Not American."
Yeah.
Very Oriental.
Very Oriental.
I think he saw my blonde hair, and he saw your half whiteness.
My half whiteness.
He's like, these people can't handle the house special vermicelli.
Right. So I got to explain this dish to 75% of this lovely married couple. But he did the same thing when I ordered the sticky rice on the phone. "Have you had it before?" And I was like, "Oh, what?" Threw me for a loop. The same thing. I was just like, "Do you want to fight?" Like, "Do you want my entree history?
Do you want us to order the most expensive item on your menu or not?"
I know. What if I what if I have had it before? What if I haven't had it before? What do you care? And I guess he's preparing for people who are unaware of what's in Peace Cuisine Special Vermicelli. But dude, there's the internet. You have a Yelp. There's pictures of it,
and it's not exotic.
Right.
It's not exotic at all.
It's a little different than like your Panda Express than most Chinese joints.
It's a little more fancy, but there's nothing foreign. There's nothing like unusual or.
Yeah.
I mean, it's egg, shrimp.
Right. Well, that's the thing. So he goes very Oriental, and we're like, oh, okay. And then he starts listing the ingredients: cilantro, sausage, dehydrated shrimp, egg,
onion. We're like, okay.
We got it.
Like, those are pretty common ingredients.
I know. I gave him a thumbs up. I was like, we're good. Green light. Good to go. So yeah, that was our ordering. And one reason I wanted to dine in is because they have the hot chili oil. They got like little containers of it at each table. And hot chili oil, you don't see that at a lot of places. Well, this is why Peace Cuisine is a step up. This is why they're winning Best of KCRA 2016 and 2018. We noticed today. But the hot chili oil, it's really good. And it's like the Chinese sausage. You don't see it at most Chinese places. The only place I can think of in Sacramento that has it is Plaza Cafe on Northgate.
Don't some Vietnamese restaurants have it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But I mean, I'm talking like Chinese.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, some Vietnamese places have it. But Plaza Cafe in Northgate has it. Theirs was like astronomically hot. It was very similar flavor, but it was so good. And I would just pile that stuff on, and I would be a sweaty, disgusting mess at the end, but I loved every second of it. But they had it there. And actually, one guy ordered takeout, and he's like, "Oh, let me get the hot chili oil." And Uncle gave him just one of those small plastic containers. I was like, "Dude, we're dining in, and you can scoop as much."
I think we ate about half the jar.
Yeah, yeah. And the ambiance, if you will, very modest. And the music that they had bumping on the speaker, the first song was In Sync. And then they played some old school Bon Jovi, and then they played Jonas Brothers. I'm a sucker for you, doo doo, doo doo, doo doo. But we were digging.
The jams were hot.
The the uncle on the 1 and 2s.
He was a DJ / host.
Yeah, all he needed was like a mouse head over, like that one guy. Don't DJs Marshmallow. He wears that thing over.
There's a guy that wears a mouse head. Right?
I know, mouse cat. I don't know.
Mouseketeer.
DJ Mouse. The restaurant was completely empty, only us. A few takeout orders coming in and out. Yeah, it was just us in there. So Uncle Peace, he starts delivering our food. He started off with the sweet and sour sauce for the cream cheese wonton. He gave very little. It was like a regular sized bowl, but the sweet and sour sauce
looks like a tablespoon.
Barely covered the bottom. It reminded me of how much food I feed Frankie because I don't want him to vomit on our carpet and or tile. But I give him like a few pebbles, and whenever I dish like. It's probably 15 to 20 kibbles for Frankie. He always looks back up at me like, that's all there is. But I thought it was very, very little sweet and sour sauce. Another thing is that, like right when you walk in, he asks, like before you reach the counter, he just yells from across the restaurant. He's like, you want it for here to go? Just to like save time, I guess, and just find out what the customer's all about and what he needs to do. I like that, but he keeps repeating it. Well, he's got a role. He yelled at you to sit down. Well,
we sat down because we told him we're going to dine in.
Yeah.
And then I noticed behind the glass, there's all these little cups of sauce.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to go take a closer look.
Yeah.
So I walk up and I start looking, and he yells at me, sit down.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm just looking.
How dare you, honey? How dare you?
Uncle scolded me.
Uncle put you in your place. Well, that's what you want in an uncle. You don't want the uncle who's feeding you shots of Hennessy in the garage behind your parents' back, honey. You want the uncle to be
very stern,
steadfast. Yes, keep you in your place, keep you in check. But the second time he told you to sit down, like you went to pay, you're giving Uncle our money.
Yeah, at the end of our meal, I went up to pay with our little receipt. And he told me again, sit down. I was like, okay, Uncle, I'm sorry.
But it wasn't as much virulence.
He wasn't so mean. He saw that I ate all the vermicelli.
Right.
I could handle it, so he was like, okay, this girl's all right.
I wonder. Well, I don't think he'll remember us. So if we go back in, is he gonna tell us how Oriental the sticky rice is or whatever? So he starts bringing out our food. And he doesn't like slide it on our table. He kind of drops it from, it's not too high, like an inch above the table. But he kind of drops it and he goes, okay. So it's like, whoa.
Yes.
I think he was doing it to make like a presentation or kind of dramatic.
There's like, he's got flair.
Yeah.
And everything's like a presentation.
Yeah.
And then when he brought out the showstopper, the vermicelli.
Yeah.
What did he say?
He goes, first of all, it's very oriental. I don't know if you know that, honey. But he brought it out and he did this with me when I the sticky rice, and it was to go, so he had to open the styrofoam container and he went ta-da. But since we're dining in, he had more time, and we're a captive audience. We can't go anywhere. It's like when you're at Disneyland and you want a hamburger, they could charge you $18 for a hamburger because where are you gonna go? What are you gonna do? So Uncle comes up with this fancy $15 vermicelli, and he said dun 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 dun.
It was like in a circus.
Dun 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 dun. And he slams it on the table, and he stood there like a few seconds, like a few beats, like he was waiting for us to go ooh wow, or just kind of sit back in our seats and be wowed. It's like David Copperfield or something. It's like the Britney Spears Vegas concert. But it was a good time. I mean, that's what you want. Emeril Lagasse, I've heard on the television at one point in my life that he comes out and he gabs and he talks to his customers because it's all entertainment really in the end. One note is that when he took our order, he didn't write anything down, and then when he came back out, he recited our order. He got it wrong. He's like, orange chicken. I go, General, and he goes like, oh yeah, General.
And he raced to the back like to tell the cook, no, General chicken, not orange.
And then near the end of our meal, he's just checking in on us, and he said, take your time, because you're a fast eater, honey. Maybe he noticed that you eat super fast, but he said, take your time. And I was like, okay, thanks, Uncle. Okay, so let's get to our food, honey. Let's get to our reviews. Steamed rice. It was steamed rice. By the way, when you order steamed rice, don't say white rice, because white and fried sound very similar. And if you're on white, fried. And if you're on a telephone and they have a crappy connection, or you have a crappy cell phone connection, maybe they don't understand your English or whatever. You don't understand them. Fried sounds like white.
So say steamed.
Steamed. I even make the mistake sometimes, but you gotta say steamed rice when you want white rice. Don't confuse Uncle, okay? He's an old man. Steamed rice was fine. I thought it was a small portion for the amount of General chicken that we got. But it was white rice, whatever. The cream cheese wontons, honey. This is where Uncle did us wrong.
Uncle did us wrong.
Things started to go south. There was no cream cheese.
There was practically no cream cheese.
Yeah.
It was pathetic.
There was like a tiny dollop on top, like in the middle of the wonton dealio.
A teeny tiny dollop.
And you were like, oh, well, there's cream cheese in here. And you would rip it apart. And there'd be no cream cheese in there.
They were hollow. It was it was very disappointing.
Yeah. And so it was like, well, there was no cream cheese. There was barely any sweet and sour sauce. We were getting off on the wrong foot. Uncle Peace. Very disappointing. The General chicken, I thought it was good quality chicken, but the pieces were too big for my liking. And I thought the sauce was a bit sweet. A bit too sweet.
It's good General chicken, though.
Yeah.
The chicken it's good quality, which is really the thing that you hope for most when you go out to eat.
Yeah. But we come from, we out here from, where were you? What did Lennox ask the other night? Is where you were from mean where you were born or something? We're like, yeah. But in Rosemont, where we used to live, there's a Chinese restaurant called Hong Kong House, and their General chicken is fantastic. And the first thing they do is they do smaller pieces of chicken. So there's more breading, there's more crunch, there's more texture, and the sauce has more kick, more heat. So I really like Hong Kong House on Folsom Boulevard. Their General chicken, much more enjoyable. But yeah, Uncle's General chicken was good, not bad. So let's get to the $15 Peace Cuisine special vermicelli, no bean sprouts. What did you think, honey? Thoughts, feelings, comments, reflections?
I thought it was delicious.
Yeah.
I love vermicelli noodles. They're very thin.
Yeah.
My critique is that there was so much meat.
Yeah.
It was too much meat.
Well, he listed the ingredients for you, honey.
I know, but he didn't say the amount.
I know. 2 cups of sausage, 3 pounds of dehydrated shrimp. Agree. See, at first I was like, what are you talking about? But then after eating it, you're like, yeah, there's a lot of meat. And I think the vermicelli is very clear or thin, or there's just not, because when we go to Vietnamese, I almost always get
I always get that too,
the vermicelli, yeah. And it seems to be well, they're not see-through, they're like,
yeah, they are.
They're white.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Well, the bowl's always white too, so it's hard to tell if they're clear or they're white.
I think they're more substantive or just maybe a little bit thicker. I thought Uncle's vermicelli was just very thin.
They were cut. I feel like they were short also.
Yeah. but you were right. There was too much meat. And like I said, it's essentially the sticky rice ingredients. But I thought the sticky rice there was more going on. There was more texture going on. It was more substantial to deal with all that meat that you were eating.
Agree.
So it was a more enjoyable experience. But overall, the vermicelli, and I was dumping the hot chili oil on there.
So was I. Yeah.
That stuff slapped. Am I too old to say that, honey?
You say a lot of... You're kind of too old to say most of the words that you say.
That's very true. Okay, what if I said the vermicelli with the hot chili oil was hitting? Am I too old to say that?
You're so cute that you can say whatever you want and get away with it.
I should have said that to Uncle. Yo, this vermicelli with the hot chili oil be slapping.
He'd be like, what? Huh?
He'd be like, that slang is not very Oriental. But yeah, it's good. Is it worth $15? I would spring the extra $1, go $16 for the sticky rice.
Well, you know what? Take out half of the meat.
Yeah.
And charge $11 or $12.
Yeah.
$11.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I think would you appreciate like a more traditional chow mein noodle, like a thicker noodle?
No.
No?
No.
I would. I think I would. Because there's so much meat going on, and then when the vermicelli is so limp and insignificant.
If you want chow mein, you order chow mein.
Yeah. Anyways. So one other note. There was another group that came in when we were dining, and they were old. And they were very old. And honey, what was the first thing you observed?
I observed that they all had walkers.
Yes.
And they were all wearing like a sweatpants with a sweatshirt.
Yes.
Combo.
Yeah.
Moving very slowly. It was like a younger old person and then two very old people. So it reminded me of like me taking my parents out to dinner in 30 years.
20, yeah. But what did the lady ask for?
Oh, so Uncle goes to their table and he says, "What would you like to drink?" And this lady says, "Hot water."
Yeah. Hot water.
Hot water. And I thought, there's no way I heard that correctly. But then she confirms after a moment. She says, 2 cold waters, 1 hot water.
Yeah.
What?
Is she ready for the hot chili oil? You're gonna need some ice water there, sister.
The only thing I could think is, did she have like a tea bag in her purse that she was gonna whip out and put in the hot water? Who wants hot water?
I don't know. It was cold. It was low 50s temperature wise.
No.
Maybe she had a bag of English tea, mint tea. She wanted to steep.
I just thought that was bizarre.
It was odd. And then the guy on his walker one of the guys on his walker went to the bathroom, and it took him. It was quite the journey. A slow sojourn.
Uncle said, "Where's he going?" And the old lady said, "He's going to the bathroom." Yeah, and then Uncle yelled back, "Be careful!"
Because the bathroom is back where the kitchen is. And yeah, I was like, if I was Uncle, I'd be like, "Are you gonna be okay in the bathroom? Please don't die in the bathroom. Please don't make a mess in the bathroom.
Please don't fall.
Please don't fall down in the bathroom." Yeah. Well, I mean, that guy, he was an old dude. And
he was very old. He was barely mobile. Like,
yeah.
The younger old person, maybe his daughter, was trying to help him in his seat.
Yeah.
And he had to use his hands to move his legs.
Yeah.
Like, his legs barely worked.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was going to fall out of his chair.
Yeah.
And then their whole ordering, they were trying to order food. It was such an ordeal.
Yeah. It was like, I don't want this. What's that? Do you have this? And I thought, wow. Well, is this going to be us in 20 to 30 years?
This is going to be us. Luna's going to be taking us out to eat.
Hopefully Uncle's still there.
I hope so.
I think if Uncle's still there and he'll still give us the spiel. Maybe he does that for everyone. Maybe he sees them every day. And
he said to these people, "Long time no see."
Oh, yeah.
But I wondered, like, did he just say that? Did he actually recognize them?
Yeah.
We need to go back in a month after my birthday when we're off track again.
Yeah.
And we need to see if he recognizes us.
Mm-hmm.
If he says, long time no see.
So our total was $42.
Yeah.
And our total from 2 weeks ago was $28. I tipped $3, which is a little bit more than 10%. But I was doing takeout. We ordered 2 items. I was just like,
Okay.
You put a couple containers in a plastic bag, and you put some plastic forks in there. I'm sorry, Uncle, but and I'm already paying $16 for sticky rice. But today, $42. You tip 10?
12.
12.
I paid today. I tipped 12.
Yeah. So hopefully Uncle buys his kid, I don't know, a new bike with that.
I hope he remembers me and my generosity.
Yeah.
And I was a white girl who was able to handle
Right.
the hot chili oil and the vermicelli. Okay, Uncle?
Yeah. Well, he's like, the husband 2 weeks ago didn't tip Jack. And now the lovely sparkling wife tipping, what was that, 30% or something?
Yeah.
Unreal.
I want to tip everyone 30 to 50%.
You do.
I want to just shower the world with money.
Yeah. And, well, there's dine-in and there's takeout. And if it's takeout, 2 items.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
Like, obviously there's a difference.
Yeah.
I just want to give.
Yeah.
I just want to give everyone money. I want the world to be happy.
Well, that's where we you gave really hungry guy $5.
I gave really hungry $5.
Well, we balance each other out, honey. We're
Yeah, we
yin
do.
and yang. We're like the TNC surf logo. Wow, that was an 80s reference
I didn't get that 80s reference,
from
honey.
5th grade. Well, were you even born? I'm kidding, honey. Alrighty. So, piece 2, or piece cuisine. The vermicelli, $15. I don't think it's worth it. But I think sticky rice is $16.
I think Peace Cuisine is overtaking Panda Express as my favorite Chinese restaurant in West Sacramento.
Yeah, it's a
And
it's a
thank
2-person race.
I did not enjoy the fact that Panda Express was my favorite Chinese restaurant here.
Right.
That's just not right.
Yeah, it's not Uncle. It's not Mom and Pop and Uncle.
No, I love Uncle.
Yeah.
We're getting to know each other. We're getting to become friends.
Yeah.
His food's good,
Yeah.
and so we're going to continue to go there. I think.
The cream cheese wontons were a miss.
Oh, I'm never getting those again.
I don't think I'll do the General Chicken again.
I still want to try the war wonton soup.
Right. That's $14. Yeah, we'll do that.
We'll go back.
The sticky rice is a winner, but that's $16.
I know.
I think, you know what, next, because last time we did takeout, but next time we'll do dine-in sticky rice with the hot chili oil.
My gosh.
That's going to send me off, honey. It's going to knock my boots off or something. Alrighty. Well, that's the end of the program. It's been fun, but not really. Let's all try a little harder next time. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, review, and rate, or don't. Do whatever you want. You're grown up. Make your own decisions. Do what's best for your family. Please be sure to use our promo code for Imperfect Foods. We don't have a promo code for Imperfect Foods. Goodbye. I love you. We love you. We hope you have a good day today and tomorrow. And sure, I may have said I was once sexually attracted to Mark Ruffalo, but I'm still a good person, and we're still good people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day/night. Bye-bye.
And oop.
We got chicken.
Is that crispy, juicy tender?